What is up, everybody? Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Now, if I don't see you later on, this is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache. And this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you once more for joining us on this lovely Sunday afternoon. Yeah, this is a little bit of an unusual twist. We are doing it on afternoon show. By the time it gets posted, it'll be later on in the evening, but we are recording in the afternoon because our fellow co-host, good buddy Andrew, was like, dude, there's some football tonight, motherfucker. We got to get the show crack-a-lackin' so we can have the evening to catch some fucking Monday night or Sunday night football. And we will absolutely do that because the time is there. Otherwise, I would probably still be in bed at around this time, waking up. That's the life of a childless, wifeless man in 2025. But regardless, I am here, and we are both here to record on this very cool Sunday afternoon. It is finally starting to chill. It won't probably get cold until November anyway, but we're starting to get some coolness. It did rain a little bit earlier this weekend, I believe Friday-ish, but nothing major. But regardless, we're going to be here on this Sunday afternoon and get this show crack-a-lackin' so we can have the evening for some Sunday night football. We got plenty to talk about because we didn't record on Wednesday. There wasn't too much news there, and quite frankly, it was better to just kind of gather it up for today to make this show nice and full length because sometimes there's nothing crack-a-lackin'. And I know what you guys want us to talk about. Danny Garcia's retirement yesterday. No, but we'll talk about that here momentarily because he did fight yesterday. We're going to be talking about that regardless. On top of that, other stuff that we heard, California Athletic Commission seems to be on board with this Ali Act change. What the fuck is that about? We're going to be talking about that. Possible Crawford Canelo rematch 2026, Cinco de Mayo weekend. Notice there I said Crawford's name first. I don't know about that. Holy hell, really? Do we have to see that again? I mean, it was quite the event, but anyway, we're going to get into those details later on. Some Manny Pacquiao opponents, possible opponents, have been named. One in particular will definitely pique our interest, but one seems kind of a formality, quite frankly. But we're going to talk about that regardless. And Eddie Hearn saying him and his crew, Boots and his side, are pretty much have done their part, have already done their contract. They signed their part of the contract for a possible Virgil Ortiz fight in early 2026. All Virgil's got to do is his part, which will happen later this year in a few weeks, as a matter of fact. But we will get all of those details, all those topics talking about and get the juices flowing this afternoon. Before we get into all of those, though, of course, we're going to check in with our good buddy Andrew. Andrew, what's going on, dude? How is your afternoon going?
What up, bro? Retirement? I thought it was the return of Danny Garcia. What are you talking about, retirement? You see that left hook? Most of the time when they win, they get another fight. But we will see if this was his true retirement. I know we don't want to jump right into it, but congratulations to Danny for a nice turnout yesterday. We also had I didn't watch the card, but I've been seeing it go viral, a round of the year and one Jake Paul fight. Could it be, Miguel, that Jake Paul will receive another award at the end of the boxing year for possibly promoting the round of the year? Did you watch that fight?
No, I didn't watch the fight. I did have seen it.
You're gonna make me do my work now. All right. Well, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up later, you guys. It was been going viral. Did you see it, Miguel?
Yes, I did see the round. Right. Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah, it's only one round. My sister actually, she tweeted, text me while it was happening. She's like, "Oh my God, are you watching?" I was like, "No, my bad." No. She's like, "Oh, this is a awesome round. You need to watch it." We'll talk about it later. As of right now, sunny skies, cool weather. I still have a fan on in my room. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But I still have a fan on my room. It's still kind of warm. If I don't turn the AC on, it'll get to 80 degrees in my house. So it's still kind of warm, right? So AC is still cracking in my house. Fan is on. Nice day. Oh yeah, not a nice day. Not a nice morning.
Shit.
Not a nice morning. That's why I had dreams of doing the show early, bro. I mean, come on. Not too much about a game that's taking place at 5:30 than it was about the game that took place at 10 a.m. Or let's say the Chiefs workout, because that's what it looked like today. It looked like the Chiefs worked out, had to wake up to work out down at Arrowhead. They had a live exhibition game going on today. The Raiders did not show up as they were defeated. I think it was 31-0.
Oh,
I think it was
31. A televised scrimmage game, apparently.
Huh? Exactly. I wasn't paying attention too much at the end there. I really wasn't. 31-0. It's not looking good down in Las Vegas, bro. You know, the locals down in Las Vegas, not yourself included, but I know you probably hear it a lot. They haven't been too happy with the transaction that went down between Las Vegas's taxpayer in dollars and Mark Davis. And you could say that Mark Davis, now they're coming up with, you know, the none of the promises that he made to you guys are even being met now. And the product that they have on the field, you know, first time in Andy Reid. Now check this out. Andy Reid has 3 Super Bowls, I think, with the Chiefs. I want to say 3, maybe 1, 2. Could be wrong. Or did they win 3? I'd have to look it up. I'm being an asshole right now. No, they won 2. You know, I know why I didn't know they won 2. All right. They beat the motherfucking Niners. That's right, baby. That's right. That's how I know
it's noteworthy because of that.
I know they won 2. I think they lost the 3rd with the Chiefs. So he's 2 for 3 right now. But first time ever, Miguel, he kept his team at 0. First time ever? Are you fucking kidding me? I didn't even know this man still had that left on his resume. I didn't know he had that check to mark in his box, Miguel. But today he did it against the Raiders. So the Raiders got a long flight back to Las Vegas. I don't know what these guys are going to do. I keep telling all my friends and family, I do not think Pete Carroll is going to stay for this. He's too old. You know, Miguel, I'm going to get a little long. We ain't got a lot of news, bro. You brought it on yourself. Poke the bear,
dude. Let us have it, Andrew, please.
I'm starting to wonder if Las Vegas is just the right city for certain people. You know, everyone that's young, we all want to live in Las Vegas. City never sleeps. Fucking be in the casinos all the time. Be by a sports book. Yay. Right? It's all yay for us. For most. I won't even make this a class thing. Let's just say for most. That doesn't mean the city's for everyone. How do you know Pete Carroll's wife is just like, nah, I don't like it. I'm 74 years old. I didn't know we were going to retire at a casino, fuckface. Right?
In a cigarette smoke casino, yo.
Yeah. Hey, Miguel, to be honest with you, are there any high rises in Las Vegas that have 5-star restaurants that are not on the strip?
Not that I'm aware of, not that on the strip.
Right.
No, that's like the place for it.
That's the place for
it.
Right?
Everywhere surrounding the strip outside of it is generally for locals. Generally. So
when you go to cities like San Francisco, Seattle, right, where Pete Carroll coached at for many years, there's many skyscrapers that have 5-star restaurants. Some are overlooking the water. Some are overlooking the city views. You don't have to go to a casino, bro. Maybe people just don't like those places. You know what I mean? I don't know. The driving to work and do you still have I haven't been there since 15. I'll be honest. But do you still have the nudie girls on when you're driving up the street, the bus that drives by and says, go here, has the 3 girls on the side of the bus?
Well, I don't think we have those. I know on the strip
they've grown a little.
Have those. I know on the strip they do. You go down the strip, right, and those I guess party. I don't know, they call them party buses, but they're basically driving advertisements. But if you're on the freeway on the way to work, there will be a billboard. I will say that there'll be a billboard.
Clubs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think the coaches had to work? These are all questions that I'm asking now because it's just not working in Las Vegas. And I got to give it to Mark. He's tried to bring in the right coaches, in my opinion, and he's tried staying out of the way. You don't really see the man anymore during the games. I got to give Mark that. He is totally pulled away from the limelight, being in the picture. Don't know why, but in my opinion, it has happened. So I give him credit for that. So then what is it? What is it that make now I know for a fact we have guys that were fighting rehab, Miguel. The Raiders drafted them, the Raiders traded for them, and I would question why the fuck would you grab someone from rehab? Right? One guy didn't make it, the other guy happens to be Max Crosby, one of the best players in the league. So obviously it worked for him, but I questioned the hiring from the very beginning because of the city you're putting them in. These guys can't go to anything special without being connected to everything that they're probably fighting temptations against, right? It's just weird. When you look at the religious side and the Derek Carr, you got to say if Derek Carr was true to his religion and his wife was true to her religion, he'd probably want to know part of the casino every Friday, Saturday night. Hey, hon, you want to go have a nice dinner? Yeah, MGM Grand, Mandalay Bay. Where do you want to go, babe? Don't want to go there. So, I don't know, man. Maybe we jumped the gun on everyone wanting to go to Vegas, because it just doesn't seem to be working. I think Pete Carroll's on the way out. I think a lot of these players, I think Max Crosby is going to be traded because the next coach that comes in is absolutely going to blow up this team. The only way you get star players immediately is by trading the star players on the roster to get young ones, right? So I think Max is gone. I don't see him going through another rebuild. It's over. It's over. It's done. This is going to be the third team I think has been built in Vegas's 5 years of existence.
Well, and we still got one on the way. At least a fucking baseball one, at least.
Yeah, and that's baseball's baseball.
Yeah, definitely not football.
Baseball has O'Shanti.
The dude from the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Oh,
come on, you got to know who that guy is.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not his name. What's his name? Is that his first name?
No, I think it's his second name.
Oh. No,
his last name.
Isn't that his last name?
His first name.
I thought that was What the? We got to get the names right.
Come on, bro. You brought up his name.
Did I? I brought his name.
I'm saying not his full name. You
gotcha. I thought because I was like, what motherfucker's name? Otani.
It says Osama bin Laden on my side. What you got?
Oh, good lord. Are we talking about the same dude, the Otani guy? Otani.
Yes.
That guy.
Yes.
Because sometimes their last name is their first name, and the first name is the last name, depending on where they're at. But yes, that dude. Holy hell.
Hey,
man, everybody.
Did you watch what he did?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's going viral too.
People, I promise you, I'll get back to boxing right now. But O'Shanti.
Why do they keep calling him that?
That's his fucking name. And I'm not changing it.
Ashanti? Like the fucking the early 2000s rapper or whatever her name is.
Did you see him hit the ball out of the park, Miguel?
I sure did. And then go back to the pitching mound. Yep.
No, but did you see him hit it out of the park? Out. It wasn't in the ballpark anymore. The last fence of the ballpark, he cleared that.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I seen this before, and it was Barry Bonds, and it was Sammy Sosa, and it was Mark McGwire. And I don't know what they're doing over there in Japan, but I can guarantee you it's not straight.
Damn. All right.
Someone found a... Listen, we've seen it before, bro. We can't... Hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right?
Well, does it really matter? Do we not want to see them knock it out the fucking park anyway? God damn it. We're not talking about punching faces here.
We haven't made it legal in baseball, so it's still against the rules. And I've seen a man hit a ball out of the park once, and it wasn't real. Matter of fact, I seen 2 or 3 guys do it, and it turned out all 3 of them weren't real. So we got to watch out. O'Shanti might have peaked. The chemists, the lab guys, the technicians in Japan are like, hey, we got to tone it down.
Yeah. They're going back to hey, Sakuraba, was that you? Was that your fucking supplement you gave this motherfucker? No, it wasn't me, I promise. Tone it down, guys, please. It's going to make it obvious. Fuck.
6.5 innings. They don't touch him on a pitching mound. He sends one of his 3 home runs outside of the ballpark.
Yeah.
He almost seems perfect, Miguel, and I've seen this before.
Yeah. If you guys have ever watched the documentary bigger, stronger, faster. I definitely recommend in case you haven't. There was a clip in there talking about Mark McGwire. Some sportscaster was like, if you were to, construct a baseball player in a lab, you'd get this guy. Like, not intending to totally say that this motherfucker is, made in a lab, even though he legitimately was, which is kind of funny. To kind of throw more fuel to this fire here, if you remember when the UFC had its rival in Japan, Pride, and all those guys came over on, they all fucking sucked. A lot of people were saying that those guys were on the juice over there. I'm just saying. That was like, there were people's contracts that literally said, hey, we're going to test for fucking, drugs. We're going to test for coke. We're not going to test for juice. FYI, wink, wink. And those guys were like, cool. I'm just saying. They came to the US and they can juice. I'm just saying.
I promise you, to all the young fans out there, when we seen the ball leave the park, every old head in baseball looked at themselves and said, uh-oh, they went too far.
Yep.
Tone it down. We don't need parks. We don't need balls leaving the ballpark, motherfucker. Okay?
Yeah.
Can we keep the drugs to where the balls stay in the park?
Yes. Can you make it look more legitimate?
Oh, yeah. Miguel, off the fucking building. Come on. It's crumbling. Oh shit, that ball's gone.
The fucking like city transit bus driver was like, oh shit, it's coming, guys, it's coming. Holy shit. Oh man.
Nah, just saying, we've seen this before. It wasn't real. Okay, props to the Dodgers. You found the missing link in the circle of steroids that they can't get caught. Good job.
Yeah, they're new strands being developed as we speak, I'm sure. In Japanese.
What we did was he injected gorilla strength into him. They will never know that he has gorilla.
Yes. It's like Canelo had it in his meat. We have it in his rice. Like, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. We have it in the sushi. Oh my! He uses sumo wrestler strength. This is his technique. Well, way to get our show started, right? Already throwing somebody under the bus real fast.
If you're still listening,
yeah, exactly. Like who's the fuck are these clowns talking? If we thought we were gonna get heat for
Shanti. I think I'm connecting both of his names. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you are.
Otani is his last name, Otani, correct?
Right.
And I think I'm connecting his first name, Shatani, to the last one. That's where I'm coming up with the name at. My bad. Otani
right.
is his name.
If we didn't get enough heat for calling Madrimov like a no name, we're about to get thrown through the fucking roof for this one, right? For everybody who loves Otani, good lord. I'm expecting you guys to come at us in our comments. So please do so. At least if you want to send some hate mail over to to Andrew, it's at Andrew. No, I'm kidding. All right. Well, that definitely will get the blood flowing for this magnificent Sunday afternoon. This is what I've heard, guys. I don't know what's going on here in the boxing world right now, because when I see shit like this, it kind of throws me off. Apparently, there are talks of a potential Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez rematch in early, I won't say early, Cinco de Mayo weekend 2026. That's what I read, mind you. So I don't know, who exactly is reporting this shit. Of course, I'm seeing it all over online. I think this is, let me see here. This is the Twitter account or X account, according to Boxing. According to reports, the rematch between Crawford and Canelo may be underway for Cinco de Mayo 2026. Wow! ! Now, I did mention this before. I didn't see anything in that first fight that would lead me to believe that a rematch would be warranted to any degree. I don't see. I'm not sure what we're gonna do here. Like, I don't know. I'm at a loss of words, quite frankly, because I didn't think it was necessary. He did what he needed to do. I think Crawford made it pretty clear that he doesn't intend to stay at 168. Although, hey, for another humongous payday, a guy that you already beat, maybe Canelo will come in better prepared or prepared differently. He did have elbow surgery recently or something like that. He has some sort of operation on his elbow. We can throw out all the excuses left and right. I'm not going to do that because we're not going to take any credit away from Crawford, Bomac, and their peeps for accomplishing what they did back in September. But does that mean that a A rematch is warranted. When I read this, I was like, oh, please, no, please. No, let's just leave it as it is. Canelo still has 2 more fights, according to what we understand, with Turkey Al Sheikh. None of them were supposed to be. I thought it was going to be, Shiraz or somebody else, Benavidez maybe even. But no, it looks like we might actually get a rematch. Notice that I mentioned Terence Crawford's name first that time because, of course, he is the man now. I can only imagine what kind of a payday this will bring. Their first fight, yes, successful, right? We said, what's this, at 74 million or whatever the hell it was, at least at the, at the gate, and packed house. That Allegiant Stadium looked fucking packed. All of our content that had anything to do with Canelo Crawford got great fucking views. So you know what, if that's what that means for the state of boxing, and I had this conversation with my pops recently, like, what then? What after this? Are there any Hall of Famers left to have these kind of big, humongous, major fights happening? Well, if there aren't, this is the indication that maybe there aren't, because they're going to go back to the well one more time. And then what if Canelo wins? Really, we're going to go for a third one, a rubber match on this one? I don't know. Seems a little unnecessary, but Andrew, what are your first impressions when you heard the rumor, at least, that supposedly talks of a rematch is underway?
You threw out a lot there. I wanted to hit on the last thing you said, but I'll go to the front. I'm gonna forget the last thing you said, but the rematch. Look, if there is a rematch, I want the people that wrote the story about the first one not being successful, they need to eat their words. They need to come out and literally, eat that, because he's not throwing away this much money for nothing, right? We hope he has a plan. With that being said, he hired a company that don't really have a plan. The company that His Excellency hired to take over boxing is a company that strictly thinks about the company and not the fighters, right? The company who they label number one, everybody rolls with. That's not what boxing used to be. Boxing used to be dictated by the fans. That's why the highest paid fighters are the ones that are usually driven by the biggest fan bases. Right? Yep. In TKO's new pay scale, that would not matter. So what I mean by that, Miguel, is how could His Excellency have that big of a flaw? How could he think that game plan is the one he needs to change this sport into if he knew our history and that it's never worked that way? No one ever spent $20,000 tickets front row because Top Rank told them that Floyd Mayweather was a really good fighter. Floyd Mayweather didn't pack a fucking house until he fought Oscar. Correct? You hear what I'm saying on this?
Yep.
So I don't know if His Excellency has the experience in what boxing needs to take them or keep them where they're at. See, there's some of you guys that don't like the way the boxing is, and there's some of us that do like everything about the sport right now, and there's no need to change it. Oh, well, wait, Andrew, you're mean because there's people getting ripped off and there's people getting hurt. Those people also knew what they were getting in when they got into it, right? We're all chasing the big dream. We're all chasing the big ticket. There's a million kids right now down in Hollywood that are trying to get into the music world, the entertainment world. A lot of them, 99% of them aren't going to make it. There's a lot of kids in college football that are trying to get into the draft. A lot of them aren't going to fucking make it. They knew that going in. They knew the risks that boxing comes with in the health side, on the financial side. So why should we change it? We have some of the richest athletes the sports world has ever seen, right? We made the richest. We've had guys with the biggest sports contracts in the sports world come out of boxing. Why do we need to change that? It seems like we should be pointing fingers at the MMA world. Just saying. Why would we? So how are we going to embrace that? So when you talk about this rematch, and there's no point in it, does he even know that? Does he care about that? I don't know, because I don't think Dana White really does. I don't think Dana White tries to build careers. He puts the best in with the best to try to make the most for the company. Right. And right robbing some Canelo fans because that's all you'd be doing. You know what? Crawford fans should come out to celebrate. I just don't know if Crawford has that pay scale that they're looking for, right? That's a big jump from fighting in Nebraska to now, you know, it's $800 per ticket. Miguel, I couldn't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford $800 per ticket for me, and that's $1,600 just to get in the door.
Not including everything else, the travel, the food. You're there.
I can't afford that, so I'm not trying to rag on Crawford in Nebraska or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, that's a big gap they're asking for Crawford's fans to fill to pay him and Canelo. You would think it'd be Canelo's side. They're more used to the high-priced tickets. He's been doing it a long time, so they would be robbing them. For Crawford, I would say, hey, you guys want a once-in-a-lifetime experience? Go to Vegas, spend the bank. I know it's going to be the bank, dog, by the time it's over.
Yeah.
With the food, the gambling, the entertainment, and then the fight. It's the bank. This is our one trip. This is our Super Bowl. That's how you got to think of this. Take a lot of photos.
Yeah.
And don't expect anything. And you should have a good time. Don't expect that fucking slot machine to ring. Don't expect that 21 on the. If you're playing with rent money on the 21 table, put your rent money away. Okay.
Right.
Don't expect anything from that city. Just some memories. That's it. So that's what I would give the advice to them, to go out there, still do it. You know. But no, Miguel, the fight is not. It's not needed. And I hope that Turkey has a future or a plan for boxing, you know, and I know we're going to get into the story a little bit later, but we got to talk about all of a sudden the flipping again on this pay-per-view thing. Mm-hmm. It ties into him not having a plan, bro. Is he just doing this shit on the fly? Like, I start looking at all these men that are behind him and how they're always like cheering. Everyone's always cheering. I don't know if you watched the tennis. They had like a tennis commercial. They had some big tennis tournament go on over there in Riyadh the other day. So His Excellency like put up a video of, you know, like highlights of the tennis show, and it's got all these Saudi guys, and they're all in white. They all look like dressed like him. They're all clapping and happy. But do these men really know sports, or are these guys just rich? I don't know.
That's a good one. I'm gonna read off this real quick because I saw this recently because it was regarding the pay-per-view thing. According to, I'm gonna read these like I guess they're like Twitter quotes. I guess screenshots. Turkey saying, and I forget the dates on this, but it says, "Great meeting with my brother Shay, CEO of DAZN. We have big visions to grow boxing. Decided no more pay-per-view, starting with our Ring Magazine show in November in Riyadh." Talking about, let's see here, the David Benavidez. Because which one? Because there's two cards in November, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure which one here specifically is talking about. The other one, yeah, right, the Benavidez and Yard, and then Devin and Brian Norman, right? And then he goes, oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. So there aren't two. That's the one I'm talking about. Then he says, the ring will be, the ring events will be free to DAZN subscribers. The pay-per-view model has damaged boxing. We will no longer be supporting it. We are with the fight fans. And then turns out it's going to be $60 on pay-per-view here in the U.S. at least.
No, but wait, tell them, like, when did that come out? 2 days ago?
Well, this is I don't know when he posted that specific that comment, but as far as this post here, this post comes out like maybe 4 days ago, something like that, roughly.
Look, I mean, you guys, we bring you the news every week. I think we would have seen the tweet that His Excellency puts out. It came out like this week, bro. They just flipped the script on us. All of a sudden, we're paying, and it's like, where's the plan?
Yeah. What is the plan?
Is this plan changing every time they go to a board meeting? And they're like, you know, like I said, bro, I don't know if these men are just rich and just got their hands in hella different things. And we're over here acting like these guys are just ready to take over. I mean, come on. Tennis, golf, Indy car racing, boxing, WWE, UFC. Like they got knowledge in it all, Miguel. Just give it to us. We know absolutely everything to do. Fuck no. They're just rich, bro. They have a whole lot of checks they're signing right now. and boxing needs to be careful. I think the best thing that happened to boxing was that he brought on the UFC, and that's not because of my feelings towards Zuffa, or is it Zuffa that owns the UFC?
It's well, I guess it's a parent company. That's the parent company they work under. I don't even know if that's still, because I don't see it that often.
Who do I call? Because I know it ain't Dana. So who owns the UFC?
I guess we could say TKO. I mean TKO.
All right, TKO. There you go. All right. Zella, there's that guy too.
Oh yes, Sella. There's somebody else, but their money's involved.
Yeah. All right. That's the best thing that happened to us, because it really put. Not only I think we're fighters a little bit cautious about going over to Saudi Arabia because of might be because of political, religion, him being biased towards certain fighters, right? Yeah. There was all these like red flags going up. And then when he brought in Dana White, I mean, come on. That's why kind of Miguel, this last time on the story we're going to roll into, I kind of threw it kind of doesn't matter right now, at least for this generation. Right? And the next generation, you're looking at a guy who's going to be kind of old. Might not give two shits about where boxing is when I'm rolling in those. You know what I mean? We're talking 10, 15 years down the line when these guys, Shakur and all them, are ready to retire, right? You would hope. So, but nobody bought in. I don't think Dana expected this kind of reaction to him getting involved in boxing, because it wasn't a good one. I mean, I've seen media eat him up. I've seen the fighters eat him up, the trainers. I've seen the cut man come out and talk bad about this whole thing, about what they're trying to do over there. So the promoters are against him. We know his troubles in Las Vegas. Like,
so just to verify, I mean, I guess to confirm, when you say this is a good thing that they came into this, it's what, so that boxing would be like bind or like come together and be like, all right, let's make this better, so these motherfuckers can, people can see that their what they're trying to do is not better than what we currently have going on.
Yeah, it gave them another reason to stay with Eddie Hearn's top ranks, the Al Haymans. You're like, wait a minute, it's not as good as we first thought, right? Not only did we have all these hurdles we need to get over religiously, politically, freaking
travel wise,
traveling over there, and then just his attitude towards everyone himself. I mean, seriously, if the man puts you on the left side, you got to think you're in the shitter, right? You got to think that he thinks you're shit if you're on that side. I'm just saying, that's what they say. So I would be pretty nervous. I would try to, matter of fact, I would try to put myself on the right side just to see if he said no. You're fucked.
For all the fighters who will ever pose with this guy, try it. I'm sure you guys are watching the show. Just try it. Go ahead, try move over. Like, let's say he puts you to the left side. It's like, no, and then try it, and then see how hard he tries to keep you on his left side, or the right side for that matter, whatever side he wants to put you on. But just to see if you happen to find yourself on his left side, try to go to his right, see what happens.
Because he answers to someone too, right, Miguel? So if the prince does not want that guy on the right, believe me, he's not going to be on the right. So you have that to worry about. Well, when Dana walks in, I think everyone was like, no, I'm done. Right? Go get the B-level guys that they're talking about. And that's I think,
and the up-and-comers.
Unless you have potential. I'm going to give you an example. Someone like Gabe Flores, who had hella potential, didn't really turn out to be that kid. I still don't know if he goes and signs with a person like TKO, because he's going to have all the other promoters in their ear going, dude, I can make you $100,000 by your 10th fight. He's talking about only paying you $500K as a champion. You know what I mean? Like the potential of being on the bigger pond, I think, is going to outweigh going to that small pond to dominate, this lower class.
Will it though? Because I mean, it would sort of be kind of I wouldn't say a guarantee, but it will be a much better guarantee that you'll have a bigger piece of the pot, as opposed to a much smaller chance of you getting to the very, very top. Like, that's essentially what they're trying to do, is spread it out.
I would agree with that if their model worked in the UFC, but we have seen through the fighters' displeasure of their payouts, their their fights, happening. It seems like everyone's always mad about not fighting for Dana White more than they're being overused. Where I seen that little thing he wrote in small print. Oh, we're gonna fight you every 8 months or something. Did you see that? He's like guaranteeing fights like every so many months. It's like that's bullshit. What if you get cut? What if you break your fucking wrist? What if you tear your arm? What if your eye gets detached? Get the fucking now. What's that $500,000? And believe me, people, that's only if you're a champion. I'm only talking about if you're the best. If you're anything less, then you're out half a year. What if you get knocked out? Then fuck his little, we guarantee you're going to get a fight. No, I just got suspended by the athletic commission. I'm not guaranteed shit. All right? So you got to think about all these things and about that. Let's say $200,000 payment that gets cut in half because of taxes, then gets taken out more because of your corner. Right now you're out 6 months. You really telling me this is where the potential wants to go? I don't think so. What we have a problem with, and I'm going to keep saying it, is the B-level guys going there. It's those guys that get used, a lot by the industry. Hey, we got a guy that's injured. Want to fight? It's that category of fighters, right? It's the older guys. I believe they're all getting a raise. I told you this. I'm going to stick with it. I think Dana White making this pay structure has helped those guys go back and go, no, I'm not fighting Canelo for this much when he's making 150 million. You're going to pay me this much, right? And then they will do it because this guy will turn around and go fight for 300, 500. I think the champion level is 500. I just seen the
750. Isn't the
no,
champion
bro? I think it's only a half of. No, watch. Go look it up.
Yeah,
again,
I'm gonna try to pull this up real quick.
I think it's only half a mil. But maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, that's where I think they're gonna get, and that's what boxing's gonna be competing with. I think the kids that are coming out of the Olympics, out of the amateurs as highly touted prospects, I think they stick with your Golden Boys, your Frank Warrens, your Eddie Hearns, and possibly Top Rank. I don't know about Bob Arum. I'm just going to say Top Rank.
Okay, so I wasn't able to find anything recent. I mean, when I say recent, I mean in the last few months. I'm showing just, I think when they first announced it, going back to March. So this is what I'm showing going back to March, unless there have been some changes. 20 grand for a 10-round unranked fighter, 50 grand for ranked fighters, number 5 to number 10 specifically, 125 for fighters ranked 3 to 4, 375 for a championship challenge, and yes, 750 for a title defense. So 750. So 300, that's a big jump. 375 for a title challenger, and then 750. So it's closer to a mil, but it's still under a mil.
And that's only one title challenger. See, that would sound impressive if you had 5 belts on the line.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You got 1 belt on the line. So
yeah,
one
so
guy
everyone else is
there,
getting
yeah.
fucking
Get the fuck! I'm telling you, bro, this is so garbage.
Or maybe 2, because they're gonna have their belt and then they're gonna have a ring belt. I guess because
the ring belt will not be ever affiliated with TKO. I can guarantee you. Every time a TKO champion fights a ring champion, he will be leaving that organization and fighting in Riyadh, Las Vegas. It will not be California.
Or would they do like a co-promotion? Do you think they would co-promote with whomever?
Definitely, he'll be on the banner. But the WBC, the WBO, you can't get a ring champion without the other 4 belts being involved, right? IBF, WBC, WBA, WBO, right?
Only if I mean, normal circumstances, yes. Like, let's say there isn't a current ring champion, but if one ring champion loses to the other guy, I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter at that point. Because, like, for example, who was it? I mean, was there one-offs?
But what I'm trying to say is, unless the Ring Magazine is now going to put a special ranking for a TKO fighter that hasn't fought for any of the other major organizations, how would he ever get to number 1 to get a title shot for a ring belt when the TKO belt doesn't even warrant you a ring title shot?
Because I thought that's one of the reasons. I could have sworn I heard that, or I read that at least. That's why Dana was one of the reasons. Dana's cool with, or trying to rub elbows over here with Turkey. Is Turkey has got owns it. oh wait, I'm getting confused. He owns all of Ring at this point, right? Turkey owns Ring, so he's cool with him. If they're just handing these belts willy nilly, I thought maybe they're going to lose credibility, but that was the point of it.
If you go to the Ring magazine website, they do not have a ranking system. There is no top 10 for the Ring champion at welterweight. There is no top 10. Go look it up. All they show is their champions, because it's the 4 sanctioning bodies that dictate who's going to get a shot at the Ring title.
Are you sure that's how it is? I thought they had their own.
Bro, how many times is it the champion that has all the titles that gets the ring belt?
Right. Yes. But there are times where that's not the case, where the dude will be unified champion, will have the belts, and he doesn't, because the actual Ring champion is still present.
You're telling me that the Ring magazine then goes, and now nobody is going to fight for the Ring title? They never do that. No. But I'm saying there are times where they'll be fighting for just the Ring belt, and Michael Buffer will be like the universally recognized #1, yada yada yada, but he doesn't hold any of the other sanctioning body belts. Is what I'm saying. Like, for example, I know this is a one-off thing, but when Tyson fought Michael Spinks, right? He was the unified champ. He had the 3 belts in that 3-belt era, and Michael Spinks was still considered the lineal champ, or the Ring magazine champ, as I understand it. See,
by all means,
when you go to ringmagazine.com and you look up their ranking system, it says Ring pound for pound champions, WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF, because it's those rankings that dictate who's going to get a shot at the Ring belt. And yes, politics probably gets involved when the champ keeps the title and the other ones get stripped. I don't know all the ins and outs about how those are figured out, right? Who's going to get the next shot at the Ring title? But what I do know is I tried looking up the Ring rankings, and all it kept showing me was who owned the belts, and then it shows me the WBC, the WBA, the IBA, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? They don't have a ranking system.
What the hell? Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I tried clicking on it. That's how I told you. Remember when I came up last show and I was like, middleweights doesn't have one? I said, now Terrence can go there and fight when Lara and who's the other kid, the young man, put those 3 titles together.
Oh, yeah.
It's possible that Terrence can go there and fight that guy for maybe the Ring title being on the line, because 3 of the 4 belts or 5 belts will be in one unification match. It's possible, but that the winner of Lara and what's his name?
Johnny Beck. It's possible that the winner of that fight is going to be the middleweight Ring champion, because he'll own 3 titles out of 5. So they'll recognize him as the super champ, and then Terrence can go there and fight him immediately. Jesus fucking Christ. All right.
You see how it gets? Yeah, it's going to get complicated for them, bro. That's why I was kind of always like, the more they talk, the more my steam was getting let off. Like, bro, this is going to get real complicated for how they're going to get one of their fighters into a Ring title match when they're not playing ball with the other categories.
Right.
And
go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, which is why MMA doesn't work that way. Why there isn't that in MMA. You don't see one promoter with another promoter and a third-party sanctioning body or a third-party belt with these guys fighting that way. That's the reason. It's one of the primary reasons why that doesn't happen in MMA. Why there isn't such a thing, and quite frankly, there might not ever be anything like that for MMA. Is just like there isn't going to be third-party ranking systems or sanctioning bodies that are going to do that. That are going to be out of the promoter's picture. In other words.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the Ring magazine, when it first got made, was wanted to be the only title in the division, right? And then it started breaking off. They just needed to create more. It's a global sport, man. You can't have just one title. Like I just brought up to the fact that so one guy is going to get a shot at the title. It's not going to work. I'm telling you, these fighters are going to be like, you know what? The WBO is calling me, the WBC, the IBF. I could go over to Africa. I could go to Guatemala. They're fighting over in Puerto Rico. They're giving out titles. Like, bro, I'm out. I'm going to go get me some titles, and then I'm going to go to Las Vegas with my titles and cash them the fuck in. That's what boxing is.
That is because I remember hearing, and like you bring up a really good point, because if they're not going to, like, they're going to attempt to cut the line, because I've read that was one of the primary reasons that they're going to have a Zuffa belt or TKO belt or whatever belt they're going to fucking make for their own little promotion, their own league, is that this guy gets a belt, cool, and then he gets a crack at the Ring Magazine belt. That, as I understood it, I've heard people say this, I've read it online, and I was like, well, that means they're cutting out all the other guys that, because they're not going to recognize champions from other sanctioning bodies. Go ahead.
I guarantee you they're going to do that. No, I think that
try to do that or actually do it.
No, I guarantee you the champion of TKO will eventually get a shot at the ring title as not an exhibition, but just a special match. Like, his excellency controls the shit, so he can make it happen with the strike of the pin, right?
Right.
So I do think they can graduate to that level. This is what I'm saying, though. As we've seen in the MMA, when you have so many other sanctioning bodies taking up the cream of the crop, how is TKO ever going to compete with these guys? We've watched all of these fighters and all these other MMA organizations fail in the UFC. The most recent being, what's the most recent one that everyone's coming over and they haven't done real good? We just seen the guy.
Bellator, yeah.
Bellator, yes. Yeah. We've seen these guys come over. They don't perform well. Miguel, I can guarantee you, if you bring anybody out of the ShowBox stable, if you bring someone out of, I don't give a fuck, give him 90 wins on USA Tuesday Night Fights. Any of the smaller platforms, you bring any guy out of there and go, yeah, just fight Chavez tomorrow. Yeah, you got it, dude. You know what? You have 18 consecutive wins on Tuesday Night Fights. That's awesome. You're fighting the champ. You know what's going to happen to that, man? There's levels. Yeah, there's levels to this. And now that we know that the titles, the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, the WBC are still in play, it's going to be really hard for this one fight. You're talking about one opportunity to get a title shot, and you have 5 opportunities. Once you get one title, you will then have a shot at 4 more titles, right? So you have the opportunity at 5 world title fights on this side, then 1 over there. So, and the pay, come on, like the pay don't even match, bro, for the elite.
Yeah.
Now the other guys, that's where boxing is going to have to, no more using and abusing. You might actually have to pay fair to the guys that are helping the sport by staying in the ring, even though they're not the best of the best, right?
Yeah, the journeymen, the B-level guys, those guys.
Yep.
Wow, we kind of went a little off topic, but anyway, Crawford Canelo, 2026.
Does it matter? No, that was the topic. Does it matter? And what I'm saying, Miguel, is I believe we have a company right now that might not know how to make. They might not care if it matters or not. That's what I believe, because I think the UFC is that way, and I think Turkey, by the decisions that he's been showing, the flip-flopping on pay-per-view being one of the biggest red fucking flags that I see from this man of telling me he does not know what he's doing. And the fact that the other day I noticed that they have their hands in just about everything in the world, and they're not that smart. Right?
I saw recently, what was it? Oh, even video games, EA Sports, right? EA Sports, that Electronic Arts getting, purchased or whatever the hell it was. I forgot what the hell it was bought by these people. I should probably say that wrong, but that way. But I'm saying, you get my point. It's like they're starting to really dip their toes and really go fucking, I should say, head first into so many different ventures, whether they know about it, whether they know, about the history or how to even run the business to begin with at all. They're just like, oh shit, we got plenty of money, we got interest in this, bam, and just tossing whole fucking money onto that shit.
You can even remember when I used to complain about Turkey coming out and saying how historic the sport is, and in the next sentence go, we want to change everything because a lot of you guys didn't even take the hardest matches. You know what I mean? The boxing could have been way better. Like, I know my Turkey is Latin. I don't know why.
And your Turkey is from New York all of a sudden.
No idea what the fuck I'm doing with these voices, but yeah, you hear what I'm saying though. Like, he was flip-flopping on that. It's like, wait, so is Ali the man or is he not the man? You know what I mean? Or was he just babied his whole fucking way? Like, it's really weird. Even on that side, it seemed like he didn't know how to compliment and put down at the same time. You know what I mean? Where no plan, no vision, just out there throwing shit together. We will see. We'll see how this turns out. But yeah, as of right now, the more they talk, the less I'm worried about Canelo versus Crawford. This is a money grab for them. I'm not even going to call it sad. It's sad more for the Canelo fans if they have to watch Canelo go through another 12 rounds of that. No, and everyone. I did it with Chavez, bro. I didn't like seeing Chavez. It's a
rite of passage, guys. You guys have to see it. We see it in every. I mean, usually with the majority of the fighters, very few exceptions, but more often than not, you have a fighter. I'm a fan of Dominic Cruz. You guys love Dominic Cruz. I love that motherfucker. I love watching his fights. I've always been a fan for a long time. Seeing him get his ass beat hard these last few fights. I mean, he's retired at this point, but it's like, you have to see the decline. You have to see them on the downside. If you are a fan, you're gonna watch them. That's just how it fucking is. You want to watch him. Of course, there's always that hope that he'll have that one last great fight. But the bottom line is, if you're going to be there with the good and him holding up that belt, you best believe you're going to be cheering for that motherfucker when he's not the fuck out, on the canvas face down. So that's totally a rite of passage for us guys. We're supposed to be there on the way down too. And, Canelo is on the way there. So hey, we're going to fucking join him on the way down too. You know what I'm saying? Do you think they'll do one of these fights here? I mean, like, let's say they do, I won't say one of these fights, but this rematch, is there a possibility that they're going to do it here, you think? Or just, I mean, again, this is just hearsay at this point, so there is no definitive anything. But after the success of this fight here and Allegiant Stadium and everything in Las Vegas, would they want to go anywhere else? Like, would they want to do something maybe on the East Coast to kind of maybe cater to Crawford's fan base a little bit, maybe, and not necessarily having come the fuck out here?
Definitely, I would put it if there was a way to get it closer to Terrence Crawford's area, plus making money on the fight, because Joe Goosen once said you can't give tickets away, right, and make money. Then yeah, you might want to do that, or you just take it back to Las Vegas, dude, and see if Terrence fans show up. Hey, at some point they need to get behind their guy too. Like, if you're a boxing fan and you're really in this for the moments, having those moments in the sport, right, where you could say I was there, right? You take a picture of the thing. One, I don't know if this fight is that anymore. I really don't. I don't know if there's a fan like, yeah, dude, I spent $5,000 that weekend, but I was there.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if that fight has that same magic. The first one seemed like it did. It finally did. At the end, they showed up, man. The fans showed up. So, don't know if the rematch will, but no, I would just take it back to Vegas and I think some of us that you live in Las Vegas, so you're very spoiled about always being around the sport. You could, drive down if you want to see a fight. For us that had to take planes in and had to like really plan hard to get the time off, to get the money saved, to do all that, these are our Super Bowls. These are a lot of those fights. Even a lot of these fights are moments in life. I was there type moment, right? Then my grandpa seen Sugar Ray Robinson. I seen Floyd Mayweather. Shit like that. We could tell our grandkids. So that's what we're hoping Terrence Crawford has reached with his fan base. And then yeah, the guys that have money will come out and spend a little bit more money to watch their guy. This is definitely his run. I just don't know if they have a plan for him.
Oh, yeah, because I figured like just go to the East Coast. I thought maybe go on that side. I'm trying to think of like whatever stadium is out there. I mean, I don't know what the closest one is. I don't know right offhand because usually I'm more familiar with arenas because of boxing and wrestling, but stadiums are usually where they have their NFL teams or something like that, which I'm not very familiar with. But
you have to, Miguel. I don't mean cutting you off, but you have to remember, you can't just take a fight to the East Coast. There has to be someone there that's ready to invest. Remember, the Fonta Blue paid Canelo and Crawford to be there, right? I don't know what the agreement was, the Mark Davis, but that's a huge stadium where maybe a huge signing deal was made between the two, right? Because you have the stand, the food stands, how you say it?
Like the food trucks?
No, the stands inside. where you're selling.
The concessions.
Concession stands. Yes, thank you, Miguel.
Mm.
You got those. You got programs that are being sold, T-shirts that are being sold, right? The tickets alone. So there's a lot more money that's generated in Las Vegas when you just get to the table. Where if you go to the East Coast, yeah, you got Barclays Center, but where are you putting the fighters for a week, 2 weeks? Oh shit! I gotta go get a hotel somewhere. Is anyone gonna loan me that? And everyone goes, man, boxing don't make us no fucking money. We don't want you. Bob told me this is why I never got Pacquiao in San Francisco. So fuck you guys, but whatever. I'm just giving you a little bit of what I know. But the money is a lot more you have to put out to fucking get fights in places that aren't run by casinos that are investing already into the fight. So that's it. That's all I got.
Gotcha. All right. Well, from my perspective, I definitely don't want to. I don't think there's a need for a rematch. I would love for Canelo to just go in another direction and just, he did say that he's not trying to go out and win more belts again and stuff like that. Like at this point, he's done whatever he needed to do, and it isn't anything that he is really going to occupy his mind with, like trying to. He's left his legacy, did his legacy. He doesn't give two fucks about belts really at this point, or winning more belts. But I guess if the opportunity comes up for him to win his belts back, I guess he'll go that direction. But
what about this? What about fighting Chris Eubank if he beats Conor Benn over in the UK? Someone mentioned that fight in the chat room, that it would be huge money for both men, and we know the UK love their fighting, dude.
Sure.
Right? If Eubank, I don't think Conor. I think if Eubank was to win again,
Conor's small. He's small.
Yeah. Well, we've seen Canelo has no problem in fighting small guys.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
No, did you make weight? I would fight you.
Yeah.
No, but Eubank, if he was to win, I would rather I'd rather Canelo go over to the UK and fight in front of 80,000 UK fans screaming their asses off for their guy. That seems like a legit out for him, rather than a rematch with Crawford. That dude. Canelo really didn't have the fire in him to fight Crawford the first time. I don't know if if that fight did enough for him to be like, no, I really want this rematch. This is one guy. I think Bivol was more of a hurt to Canelo's ego than Crawford was. I just think at this moment, Canelo never wanted the fight, and I think he's going to think that until the day he dies. Like, I don't care that I lost to Crawford. That was a money grab. I never once woke up thinking about, Terrence Crawford's behind me. Not once. He just showed up and fought and lost the boxing match, and so what? We're moving on. I don't know. Eubank.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, because he has expressed how much he would want to go out to the the UK, and we know UK fans. They love beating Americans. I don't know if they love beating Mexicans. Maybe they do. Fuck, I don't know. Because it's been happening several times where like Eddie Hearn will bring an opponent over there to one of his guys, and then his guys get smoked by some small time Mexican dude who isn't really a big name by any stretch. So that seems more practical. I think that's a much better idea than trying to force a rematch. That like you said, people. Maybe the first time was like, oh shit, once in a lifetime. I was there. I saw it. The second time around, I was like, well. Especially how the fight went down. It wasn't like it was close to the very end or anything like that. It was a back and forth brawl or something that the winner in the end were like up in the air, like who the fuck won this one. It was pretty clear from the fucking from the middle of, at least early on in the middle of the fight to the end, that that Crawford was going to get the victory, unless they would have fucked him over, of course. But regardless, the way it went down that way, it just seems like it just takes away a lot of the steam of any possible rematch.
Yeah.
So that leads us to the second part of, I guess we kind of sort of touched on it here. The California State Athletic Commission decided to unanimously vote 6-0 to support the revival or the change to the Ali Act. Now, I'm hearing a little bit of I don't know if it's not misinformation, but maybe misinterpretation, I should say. Probably the best way to describe it is a misinterpretation of what this change is intending to do. Is really more like an addition, an amendment, essentially a way for TKO, Zuffa, those guys to come in and run boxing cards the way they run the UFC. Pretty much is what they're trying to do. they're not trying to eliminate the other way of doing it because they're still going to have that option. The fighter is going to have the option to sign with Zuffa or TKO or what does he call it? There's a UBO, United Boxing Organizations or something like that. That's their sanctioning body. That's their championship, UBO. They're going to come in here and be like, all right, this is us. You can sign and fight with us under this structure, or you can be with Oscar, or you can be with Eddie, you can be with Tom, with Bob Arum. So it isn't that they're trying to remove it necessarily, because I don't think he can. Anybody can ever do that, really, frankly. But it looks like they're just trying to add something to it. So I'm hearing this a lot. People, Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya talking about the TKO or these guys not wanting to recognize the other sanctioning bodies, right? That doesn't mean they're trying to eliminate them. It just means they're not going to recognize them. If you fight over here, you're not going to be fighting for those belts. That's pretty much it's a either or kind of thing, right? It's not like you're going to come in here and still fight for the WBO belt or anything like that. No, it's not the case. So this is essentially that their amendment or their change to the Ali Act is simply them changing, frankly, of the rules in order for them to get into the boxing business, to run it the way they do in MMA and the UFC. That's essentially what they're trying to do. I'm not saying that it's good by any stretch. I'm not trying to say that. I'm simply trying to clarify that everybody seems to have this impression that they come in and try to change it to remove everybody else from the situation, and they're not. That's not what they're trying to do, because again, they probably couldn't if they wanted to. But anyway. So yeah, so apparently I have to assume, or at least this is kind of the impression I'm getting, since the California State Athletic Commissions were the first ones to really approve this amendment or this change, this addition, maybe that's going to be where they're going to hold their first event. I read that it's going to happen in 2026, right? Especially with this deal with Paramount Plus. I've heard even it might even be as early as December of this year. So if that we're talking, already mid to late October we are right now, I have to assume that the first place they're going to hold their event is going to be California. So that's the first place that gave them the thumbs up to hold it, or at least to change this Ali Act here. But are we? I don't know. I'm not sure how I can pose this question to you, Andrew, but this is. You mentioned it before. Every time they come up with something new, it's the ring, it's the belt, it's the XYZ that they're going to change. We basically worry about these guys less and less, about them coming in to really change things. It's like they're showing to be more and more of a joke than they already are at this point. So does this really matter? Does this change really matter? It's basically saying, all right, guys, you can come in and have your fights here in California because we're the ones that are approving this shit. Go ahead, let's do it here. Even if all 50 states eventually said, yeah, go ahead, no problem, let's do it here, they're not really going to change too much, or at least not take away rather than what you mentioned as far as the opponents go, or the B-level guys, the journeymans. But is this a sign of bad things to come?
The only ruling that I'm nervous on is the Supreme Court ruling. Right? That's the one they said Dana White was trying to revise the Ali Act, was to get the Supreme Court to revise it. Okay, and that's when, all of you guys are like, oh, his Donald Trump connection. Shut the fuck up. Donald Trump don't got no connection in California. All right, so you can throw that out of your article, your little hype over trying to pump up Dana White's fucking closeness with the president. President didn't call California and get any leverage pulled for TKO. So stop it. Right? California's California. Donald Trump was supposed to help him with the Supreme Court ruling, and we know the Supreme Court's got a lot on their plate right now. So the Ali Act probably isn't one that they're really paying any right. Fucking attention.
It's not the top of their fucking pepper.
Exactly. So what does he do? He runs over to some puppets over here in California, right? And California's like, yeah, we'll do it unanimously. Yeah, you're in. And then they all try to trot around like this is some fucking parade or some victory. And maybe it is for California and TKO. Great. But that means nothing about Nevada. That means nothing about New York. That means nothing about Indiana or the fucking state boxing commission. It does not matter. Correct? Am I right when I say this?
Yes. As I understand it, Ryan, it does not matter. Yeah.
It does not matter. So I don't, everyone running around with this like big ass victory for TKO this weekend. Maybe it is. I don't remember last time California threw a fucking $1 million fight. Sorry. Am I missing something?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's where they're going to start. That's where they're going to start because they have to start
If
small,
I'm
right?
missing some, like if they just dabbled into Las Vegas's market or something
Right.
here, not right? It's fucking California, dude. Half the time we're upset with the decisions California makes in the boxing commission, anyways. Add this one to that fucking list. And my other thing is, I'm glad. One thing that I think, if what I believe is going to happen happens, I am happy that the gatekeepers, like Miguel called them, the journeymen and the B-level guys, are getting the significant raises. That's fine with me, right? There's enough money. When the one champ can make 150 million, then we can give pay raises to the lower card, right?
Yeah.
So because we're talking about one fight, you guys. We're not talking about a 10-year career, a 3-year career. We're not talking about a season. We're talking about one fucking fight. Big difference.
Yeah. Let me read this quote here. I got it off of one of the my go-tos for MMA news here, MMA fighting on Instagram. California State Athletic Commission voted unanimously on Wednesday to back support for the Muhammad Ali All-American Boxing Revival Act. Wow, that's what they call it, huh? Which will allow UFC-style promotion to happen in the sport of boxing. The commissioners voted 6-0 on the measure, with one wrinkle added that if the proposed legislation becomes law, that cost of living adjustments are included with the state of California. Okay. The proposed law.
Wait a minute. Time out. Sorry, Miguel. Why does it say if it becomes law? So do they have to vote? Who's got to vote on this to make it law? Who's got to sign it off? Gavin?
Let me see. Let me read on here because it says the proposed law introduced into Congress by Representative Brian Jack of Georgia and Sharice Davids of Kansas. I don't know. Wouldn't change the existing Muhammad Ali Reform Act, but instead add a new provision that would allow for UFC-style promotion in the sport of boxing. Under United Boxing Organizations, or UBO, the new law would guarantee certain levels of pay, new safety standards, and anti-doping measures as well. UBOs would effectively operate much like the UFC, with an organization promoting the event while also providing its own ranking and championship titles. The new law wouldn't usurp, I can pronounce that word right, the existing Ali Reform Act, but rather serve as an alternative option for fighters. So it says a proposed law introduced into Congress by these representatives. So Congress, they're the ones that are going to, again, be like yes or no into law or not.
Yeah, they'll vote it. It still goes to the Supreme Court, though, because I could have swore they're the ones that denied it last time, bro.
Yeah, they denied something last time. Shit, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to U.S. government class, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it probably goes through the House, the Senate, and then it has to go to the Supreme Court for the final vote. As long as them two agree on it, then they will say if it passes. If that's when it gets into law, correct? Just say yeah, dude. It sounds good. So we'll move on.
Yes, you're correct. You're accurate. Yes, you got it.
Hey guys, correct us if we're wrong, but that's how I think. That's what we think's going on here. It's a very small win for TKO. It's a victory. They got someone to agree that they can rip off fighters. Whoop-dee for them. For those of you that don't know how the boxing pay scale works and didn't graduate high school, Danny Garcia kind of explains it pretty good on his page about why the Ali Act is good for boxers, especially ones that didn't, the ones that just needed help. You know what I mean? Like, don't get ripped off. Danny does a good explanation of why that's in place and why it's good for us them fighters.
We can call ourselves fighters too.
Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying, you guys. For boxers in general, because it's some bullshit, Miguel. I mean, seriously, if a show makes $1 million, you're only going to get 20 grand. Really?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, you don't know, like they get to keep it from you that the show made $1 million.
Yeah, yes, he talks about that too. Yes, you're absolutely right, dude. You don't have to show receipts and none of that. Yeah. No, come on, you guys. No one's signing up for this. There will be some that are living in trailer parks and fucking take, phone calls that they'll fight for $5 grand a fucking round. Yes, those guys are immediately calling up TKO and saying, where do I sign up to at least get a tryout to be on some kind of ranking system with TKO? Absolutely, those guys are calling. And if it works out good for them, that's when they'll start working their ways up. It really, for me, Miguel, it's going to be that whole thing about guaranteed fights per year. There is no way. We know in boxing there's way too many injuries. And Dana knows this from the UFC. Let's not get it twisted like the UFC don't have fucking injuries. But we know in boxing, the tournament with the fucking the Ali tournament that took way too long to go get through. The first
Super
one
Six.
the Super Six that Andre Ward did, the very first tournament that I hear at FightNet Radio put together. I know you guys will never give me the credit. Fuck everyone, but that was us, me and Lee Honish and Julian. I think his name was Julian. Anyways, guys never gave us credit for that, but fucking way too long. What, 2.5 years to fucking complete, Miguel? Some bullshit like that. Come on, guys are fucking dropping out because of cuts on the eyes. I mean, they didn't. Who was it? Ward had to fight Bika. Sakio Bika instead of like Abraham or some other guy that had won, but the guy was injured, so they pulled him out, put Sakio in. You remember that?
I do.
Someone had to step out of that tournament because of an injury, I believe.
No, I do remember. And then, like, who was it? I think Jermaine Taylor got knocked the fuck out, and they had to bring in Allen something or other. I forget his name. I forget his name already. But yeah.
Yep. So no, we all know that this whole guaranteed fights. Bullshit.
Okay. So here's the thing. With these fighters, and this is kind of a different. Again, it's different, but it's the same because of the specific scenario. Fighters in the UFC oftentimes fight a lot of fucking fights in a year because they have to. You know, whether they're injured or not, those pays are shit. So if they're gonna run this in boxing, and yeah, granted, the lower level guys who in regular boxing world aren't getting pennies, in this boxing world, in the UBO or the TKO, are getting paid better. Granted, they'll be getting paid better, but they will still need the money. They will still going to need, if they're going to continue to get fucking ripped off, even if they're getting more than what they would normally get, they are being forced to fight again. And sometimes they get punished for not taking a fucking fight. You know, it's like, hey, my shoulder is really fucked up, but like, well, you're asking fighting for another fucking whatever the hell, you know? So I even though those are guarantees that they get X amount of guaranteed fights, it's not necessarily, you know, for good reasons. It's probably because they fucking have to, because they get, you know, peanuts in between fights. You know, yes, they're gonna get more than what they would get otherwise, but I don't know. It just seems like they're offering, I guess, more fights because they kind of have to. Because these guys, even with a cut, even with a fucking torn whatever ligament, a lot of these guys are going to fight anyway because they need the money. They desperately need the money, so they will take the fights for as many as they offer them, basically.
I think it's better. I think it's easier. I'm gonna be a dick right now. You guys
Please do so. Please do so.
I think it's better to carry an MMA fight than it is a boxing match when you're hurt. I think in the MMA, if you're injured, you can rely on your ground game. You can rely on working off the cage, trying to just play a lot of the inside. In boxing, you go in with a broken rib, a broken wrist, a fractured eye, a detached retina that you can barely see at. Boy, you're gonna get your ass knocked the fuck out. There is no pulling a single and laying on the dude for 4 minutes out of 5 minutes of the round, and the whole crowd's booing, and no one knows why. No one's doing any offense. There is none of that.
Yeah. Or tapping out, you know, like you go for the takedown, the dude gets you, and you just give him the arm.
Give him the chokehold.
Yeah,
just the reverse. I love the reverse naked choke, Miguel.
the rear naked choke.
Oh, rear naked. I'm sorry.
Get your damn terminology right. Yeah, but there you go. But you know, tapping real fast, like, all right, I came off, I get paid. You know, my rib is cracked. Let's go. Let's go home.
Yeah. So. I'm just saying, I know no one likes to hear that side of the sports, but it's there. Unfortunately, it's there.
You would be surprised, like, you know, it's a little harder to throw when you say, you know, like you mentioned, how to take a dive in boxing than it is take a dive in MMA. In other words, it's happened many times before. It looks suspicious, and you're like, yeah, that dude totally just fucking tapped. You know what I'm saying? But he can hide it a little bit better. You know, the dude doesn't have to really crank his arms. Like, just crank a little bit. All right, take it home.
You can go in for a fake shot, get a guy to get the back position. You're out in a chokehold. I mean, it's that simple. Like, man, I went for that shot, and woof.
Yeah, and there's control. The guy doesn't even have to squeeze hard. It's like, especially if the guy's in on it, right? I mean, it's like, just squeeze a little bit, homie. Just make it look legit. You don't even have to really strangle my ass.
Yeah. That's another one I didn't want to say, but yeah, you got a lot of that too. When you're in a sport where wins and losses don't matter, and people's lives are on the line, and when I say lives, I'm talking about I haven't made a check in 6 months. I'm living with my relatives, in-laws.
Yeah,
Bro, I really
their
need this
their
fight.
livelihood.
Yeah, I really need this fight. Oh yeah, dude, give me a shot. I'm gonna get back position.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you fuck with me on this. Right? And then it's very, very. That's a lot easier too because for the other way. If you needed to take a loss because the sport really doesn't thrive on wins and losses. Just saying.
All right. Well, moving on.
Sorry, Miguel.
Wait.
It's happening.
Because
it's your sport, and I'm saying the guys are taking dives. I hate that shit. No, I hate it when I see it.
It's not that I hate it too. I mean, I'm more familiar with the sport, so when I see it, I'm like, anybody else watching this? Because I'm saying this guy's giving that second takedown way too easy, yo. Like, what the fuck?
Now it seems like every Sunday for the last 2 or 3 years, football is being exposed more and more about guys looking the other way.
Yeah. And quarterbacks running the opposite direction. Like, no, but why is it going that direction? Oh my. Well, talking about opponents here, it was initially said, I read this earlier in as shortly after July, that Manny Pacquiao was going to make his return to the ring in December. As we approach December, it started to look like that's not going to be the case. It started to look, I should say, and then recently heard that it looks like we're going to be having to wait till 2026 for a Manny Pacquiao return. We already have a co-main event, or at least another fight on the card. Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora is going to be added to that card. Fantastic. I'm down for that. Why not? But we still don't have an opponent for one Manny Pacquiao. There have been a lot of rumors swirling, a lot of people saying who it will, it won't be. This is basically going to add more fuel to those rumors, because I myself have heard plenty, and there's been some reports online. Now, as I understand it, the lead candidate is Rolly Romero, right? It's one of the other champs in the weight class, since Pacquiao wasn't able to snatch that belt from Barrios. So looks like it looked like, at least for quite a while, that it's going to be Rolly Romero, and rightfully so. You know, Rolly got that belt off of or the vacant belt, I guess, off of that upset win over Ryan Garcia. So you know what, fuck it, Rolly deserves it. Give him that fucking title. You know, that big money fight with Manny. Why not? Well, other names have been thrown into the hat. One, Vasily Lomachenko has been thrown in there. Now, if you guys remember, Vasily's last fight, which I think was against Cambosos at lightweight, 135. He would have to jump to 147 for this one. It would have been cool if these guys maybe meet in the middle at 140. I don't even know if Manny can even make 140 at this point in his career. He is still a small guy, and quite frankly, when he went to 147, I still think that was too much for him anyway. Even though he was successful, I still think that was too much weight for him regardless. But yeah, I don't know. Manny Pacquiao versus Vasily Lomachenko. That's pretty intriguing. I'm not going to say it's not, right. It's one of those like Hall of Fame type of fighters, I guess, fighting one another. Granted, not in their prime of their careers, especially Manny. But for Lomachenko specifically, this is a very common thing with Eastern Europeans. They tend to turn pro, at least in boxing, a little bit later on in their lives. But first, before I even go to the next opponent, first off, Andrew, what do you think about a possible Manny Pacquiao / Vasily Lomachenko fight taking place in early 2026? You start talking. I got to go real fast. I'll be right back. Go ahead and get crack-a-lackin'.
Well, how do I feel about the Lomachenko fight? We talked about earlier, there not being a plan with boxing right now, and this would fall right into that category of not really having a plan. Where do you go after that? All right, so Manny and Lomachenko fight. The winner does what? Does the winner go home? Is the winner now fighting in the welterweight division? Meaning, is Lomachenko now a welterweight? Is Manny now a lightweight? Is he a catchweight? No plan, right? And that's where that fight would fall under. I don't even think it's a dream match for either fan base. I don't think Lomachenko fans would be like, oh, I have to be there. I don't care. I'm going to spend 20 grand to go to Las Vegas. And because I got to think it's a little bit more money to fly from, where is it from? UK?
Ukraine.
Ukraine, excuse me. Jeez almighty, Ukraine. Might be a little bit more expensive to get over to Vegas to watch your boy fight Manny Pacquiao out of retirement. So, no, I think that fight's... Miguel, sometimes I think they're just throwing shit as excellency to see how much he doesn't know. You know what I mean? And be like, if he was like, ooh, that does sound good. All right, yeah, let's start working on numbers. They probably just get right to the numbers, right? Fuck everything else. How much are you going to pay us? And then we'll talk about everything else. Don't like the fight. We need to know what Manny wants. Because it's not about Lomachenko. I don't want to see Lomachenko as a fucking welterweight. I have no desire to see Lomachenko and Ryan Garcia fighting at 147 or Devin Haney or any of these guys. So it's not about him. It's about Manny. Is Manny coming back to boxing to make a run at the welterweight division, or is he coming back to boxing to play games and get little exhibition fights and guaranteed purses? I don't know. So someone needs to interview Manny and ask him what his goals are in this last run that he's doing in this sport. But I'm not impressed with Lomachenko as being a name that's in the hat. I do like the Rolly Romero fight because it leads somewhere. There's a plan with that, right? Mm-hmm. He gets a title. There's other guys that work with the PBC that have titles. It just all seems to work out for Manny and making a few more checks, what I think he wants. So I like Rolly Romero right now more than I like Vasily Lomachenko.
Okay, right on. That's pretty reasonable. I thought maybe, if Manny can even still make 140 pounds, his body doesn't look exactly like, fit at 147, especially at this age. Maybe they can meet halfway and they'll have some sort of 140 pound type of thing. But are you ready for a little bit of a curveball here? Another possible name in the mix, and I really shouldn't really say it's in the mix. They just made news, which I thought was funny. But when Jaron Ennis moved up to 154, he basically dropped the belts that he had. One of them being the IBF belt that was recently picked up in a vacant title fight by one Lewis Crocker. All right. Oh, who the fuck is Lewis Crocker? Well, Lewis Crocker is an undefeated fighter. I believe he is Irish, if I'm not mistaken. His manager reached out. I believe his name is Jamie Conlon. He reached out to Manny's people and said, hey, if you guys can't get Rolly Romero, how about you go after the IBF champ, our guy, Lewis Crocker? Now, if you're thinking about Lewis Crocker, yeah, I haven't heard of him either. Apparently, these guys are interested in fighting Manny, obviously, right? For obvious reasons. We're talking about that. I don't know what. I know that they're looking for a humongous payday, right? Even if it means giving up their IBF belt, because that's pretty much what that belt is. Really, it's hardware and it's leverage. It's like, all right, you want this IBF belt? Give me a nice payday for it. I'll hand it over, no problem. But I had no idea who this guy was. I had to go look up his record. He is an undefeated fighter. And I took a look at the people that he's fought. The only name that I recognize in there is Joel Julio. If you guys remember that name from early 2000s, 2020, 09, 2010, 2011, a 154-pound guy who has fought Alfredo Angulo, James Kirkland back in the day. So that's the only name that I recognize on Lewis Crocker's record. But he is an IBF title holder, and I'm sure he is willing to take give up the belt for a nice hefty payday. I highly doubt this is the direction Manny wants to go. Again, this is kind of what, going back to your point, Andrew, it sort of depends on what Manny wants to do. Is he just really in this for like a money grab, or does he actually want a one last run at the welterweight championship of the world? But when I read this, I was like, you know what? Let me bring this up because I had no idea who the first one of this fool is. I still don't, frankly. But he's a belt holder, and if for whatever reason this doesn't go through with Rolly Romero, his manager Jamie Conlon threw his guy's name in there and said, "Fuck it, you all want a belt? We got an IBF belt over here." Not exactly thrilling news, but I thought I'd throw this in there because it's another belt holder that maybe Manny can get at.
It's news, Miguel, because he's undefeated and he has that IBF title. And that IBF title would make Manny a champion at 47 years of age and would break all the records that it's possible he's going after, right? He likes upping Mayweather. That would be another thing on his resume that he could say. What is he on right now? Like 5 decades of winning world titles? What is it, like 6 decades, something like that? He won one like in 1990 and 2000 and 2010 and 2020. Yeah, it's something like he's got like 4 or 5 decades of winning a world championship. So this would just add to that. I'm starting to get a little bit cautious. I'm going to get to Manny, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried about BoxRec's ranking system. Mario Barrios is ranked number 20. The last time I checked, he was the WBC champion, correct?
Yes, still.
So they're saying that he's ranked number 20 in the world, even though he's the champion of one of the sanctioning bodies that run our sport. Champion, but you're ranked 20th. Okay. Doesn't say a lot about Suleiman's ranking system, I'll tell you that. Suleiman should be making probably a phone call over to BoxRec.
Yeah.
But then I move up, and coming in at number 16, they have the WBA champion, Rolly fucking Romero. Miguel, why are our champions ranked so low on BoxRec? These are the champions.
What in the hell is their criteria?
I don't know.
To rank these guys that far back? Like, I mean, you know, they got a belt. That means something.
I guess being number one.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, but watch this. Coming in at number 15 is Lewis Crocker, IBF champion. So the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA are all ranked 15th or lower by the BoxRec sanctioning body, or however you want to say ranking system. Yeah. Fucking weird, dude. I'm kind of thrown off by that, but whatever. I like the fight. It sounds kind of weird. I like the kid's undefeated. He's got an IBF title. If there's money, if they could take it to the UK, look, Manny's global. Manny is Ali. You could put that man anywhere on the face of the earth, and he's going to generate money. He's going to generate some kind of excitement. It's Manny Pacquiao, right? So I do believe he is global. He can go over to Ireland. He can go to the UK, wherever they would want to throw this fight, and probably win himself an IBF title and come the fuck home as a champ. Damn. And get one more big fight. So I like it. I mean, I like the Romero fight. I like the this Crocker fight. And we've seen champions do this later in their career. Manny deserves a trip to Ireland to go win a title and come home, right? Just like he did to Australia. He kind of already did this once, right? You went to Australia and won a title. It's a nice family vacation, Miguel. You take everyone out. You're fighting a B-level guy.
Yeah. Go visit our good buddy Sam Namajar in Australia. Why not? Yeah. Just for shits and giggles. We have seen it before. Actually, it's a very good point. This does tend to be like a pattern, I guess. You know, this is kind of a trend amongst these like older fighters. It just seemed kind of low. Like when you asked the question, I guess it's sort of it depends what Manny wants. You know, we have to ask that question to Manny. If this is legitimate, and mind you, this is just news. For all we know, Manny has no fucking idea of this, right? But according to what I've read here, and this is, I'm going to pull up this screenshot that I took here. His name is Jamie Conlin. He says, I reached out to Manny Pacquiao's team. They're trying to do Romero, but if that can be done, it can definitely be looked at like talking about themselves, right? So it seems as though that's the direction Manny wants. But it doesn't matter who's got the fucking belts. I'll go after the belt. Clearly, they didn't happen, or it didn't work out with Barrios. But whoever the fuck Crocker is, he's got a belt. Cool, I'll do it. It just seems a little cheap. Like, you know, I hope the fight with Romero actually happens. At least we know Romero, or at least here in the U.S., I suppose. But he's got more name recognition and, hell, a little bit more credibility. Sure, he took it from, he got the belt, I will say it was vacant, but he beat Ryan Garcia for it. That, to some degree, still means something, especially when he was coming in as such a heavy underdog. But I certainly hope that fight goes through. I don't want to see this. I just don't. I get the reason, or at least that from what I'm from the outside seeing, you're gonna go in here and take the belt from this dude that no one gives two fucks about. Unfortunately, it's gonna just be that. It's gonna be a paper champ. If you took it at least from Barrios or fucking Romero, I think that means a little bit more, than beating this guy. Again, he's undefeated. I get it, right? So maybe he is a lot more dangerous than we're giving him credit for. Or at least I'm giving him credit for. Right. So maybe it is a legitimate fight. And For all we know, he doesn't even do it. And I mean, do it as in he wins. Maybe he goes through with it and he fights Crocker and he fucking loses, and that's the end of Manny Pacquiao. Hopefully that's not the case, of course, but it just seemed kind of low. Like I was kind of hoping that Manny would go a different direction with it. But hey, if we're going to go this direction, then fuck it. And he's definitely up to it. I'm talking about Crocker and his people. Clearly they're the ones that are pushing this, right? They're saying, hey, if you guys can't get that done over there, by all means, give us a try. We'll definitely give you something worth. And hey, I'm not even sure if Manny has fought in the UK or Ireland or anything over there. I'm sure that would be something that he can check off of his bucket list or something like that as well. But I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, oh, really? This is the direction we're gonna go, Manny? I really wish somebody would ask Manny that question. Like, dude, what is your goal, bro? Are you going for like one last run at the championship, or are you just gonna pick up a fucking belt and say, yeah, I did it. I got a championship in this weight class in this, the 2020s or whatever. It just seems kind of low to me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Once again, if his plan is to stay fighting, though, then this is really getting the ball turning on getting a unified, undisputed champion at welterweight. So we actually need that title back with Manny getting it or setting up a new star in a little undefeated Ireland kid, right? Irish kid. We kind of need it to happen. So I like, and like the man said, it's only if Romero falls through, right? Definitely not the first option, but a great option B is to still get one of those titles back in the mix here to try to get an undisputed bigger fight.
Definitely. Not when I first read that the possible opponent, or I guess another name in the hat, was Lomachenko, and then I see this, I'm like, what? Really? Like, this is quite the stretch. But
yeah,
I mean, if this is the direction they're gonna go, then.
And I thought Lomachenko was a real stretch. That came out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Mm. Okay, so before we get into the next topic here, which is a quick brief, I want a quick, if I may, this show is brought to you by Healthy Soap. Guys, if you guys want to try this out, I am, for those of you who don't know, I'm in my early 40s, and trying to use chemical stuff like trying to get rid of chemicals in my life, right? Trying to get rid of it in my lotions and my shampoo, etc., etc. And I've kind of found this soap. It's pretty dope. It's pretty. This is my favorite scent. It's called lavender patchouli, and it's a natural soap. It's a tallow soap. I definitely recommend it. I use it myself, and I hit them up and I was like, hey, do y'all have any sort of like affiliate links for you guys, YouTubers? And he's like, yeah, we sure do. I was like, oh, fucking hell, all right, well,
nice,
guys. We will definitely put a link in our in the description here after we post the show. But by all means, head on down to Healthy Soap, or I'm sorry, Healthy Sol, if I'm gonna get the fucking name right, dumbass. Healthy Sol or YSol. And we're gonna leave as I mentioned, we're gonna leave a link in the description here. But if you're already on the website, by all means, check them out. You can actually use a checkout code. Yes, what is that checkout code, Andrew? I know you're dying to know. It's MADBoxing10. And you get 10% off of your purchase. How about that? Guys? If you guys want to, get away from all the chemical stuff in the soaps and the Doves, etc., by all means, give Healthy Sol a try. And this is probably my favorite scent here. So by all means, give them a try. Use the code the checkout code, I should say, MADBoxing10, and you get 10% off, or just follow the link in their description. Figured I'd throw that in there before we go to the next topic, because this show is brought to you by Healthy Soap, Healthy Sol soap, if I can get that fucking name out of my mouth. All right. So, moving on here, Eddie Hearn was recorded recently, or at least was interviewed recently, and he always is. And we talked about him last week about really having this confidence in Boots Ennis, saying, you know what, Boots, he's special. He's a different guy. He's gonna, we want that fight with Ortiz, and when we get that fight with Ortiz, we're gonna fuck him up. He is like betting the house on it, at least according to him. Well, he's saying that the contract is signed on their end, at least, and it's up to Ortiz now to get past Erickson Lubin, and that will take place in a few weeks from now. As a matter of fact, I think it's the 8th or the 9th of November, early November. So we're gonna see Virgil in action here real soon, but according to what Eddie Hearn is saying, they're doing their part. They've already done their part, I should say, and signed their portion of the contract. It's all about Ortiz and Golden Boy to see to make sure that they do their part once they get past Lubin, or if they get past Lubin. But I saw that and I was like, hold up, wow, because like I gotta be honest. I was a little, for as much of the talk or the shit talk, I guess, from Eddie Hearn about how he's betting the house and he's so confident in Boots. I kind of was, I was suspicious, or I guess skeptical, that he was actually gonna, have try to make this fight happen. I was like, I don't know if he really wants this fight. I'm not sure if he really wants to risk, Boots, because I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going to go with Virgil all the way if that fight actually does happen. But it looks like he's, putting his money where his mouth is, and he's saying, yeah, we're signing the contract already on our end. It's just waiting to see how it turns out on their end. So I was surprised, but quite frankly, I'm excited. If I were going to believe what, promoters are going to say, what they're going to say to get you hyped up, and I'm going to fall for it. I'm sorry, I'm going to fall for it. I got excited. I was like, oh, what? You all signed your part? Okay, shit, all right. I'm down for this one. Can we believe Eddie Hearn here, Andrew, that they've already signed their portion of the contract and saying, yeah, we're just ready for Virgil as long as he gets past Lubin? Do we believe that?
If Eddie was the boss in this, I would say no. But because Eddie's not the boss and he's just the messenger for Turki Ali Sheikh, I'm going to say, yeah, there might be some fire where the smoke is. Because I'm going to say Ennis turns into Katsuya Zoo 2.0 if he denies this fight that Turki wants. Turki's already kind of come out against Ennis and Eddie Hearn on their decision making when he put up the first plan for Ennis at welterweight and he didn't want it. And then he wants to go to junior middleweight or junior middleweight?
Yeah, super welterweight.
Super welterweight, junior middleweight, however you want to say it. He goes up there and demands 2 warm-up fights. Turki then comes out and is like, warm-up fights, yada yada, right? Throws a little what do you call it? Shade at him online about that. And then it looks like he's not getting a second warm-up fight. Or if he is getting a warm-up fight, it's going to be with the guaranteed Virgil Ortiz signing already. So I don't think they really had an option, I guess, is my long way of answering that question, or my short way of answering that. So, yeah, I am very happy or confident that if Virgil Ortiz beats Eric Lubin here in a few weeks, we will be announced that the Ennis and Ortiz fight is signed.
All right. I like to hear when promoters say stuff like that, but again, they are promoters at the end of the day, right? So they're going to say whatever it is they're going to say. They're trying to promote their fighter and get excitement into the mix. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, well, I'm down for that if that's the truth. And now we are going to see Virgil in a couple of weeks here. I think it was the 8th on DAZN. So we're going to get our answer pretty quick, right? Like, we don't have to wait too much longer. It's not like it's a matter of waiting months before, this next fighter, or maybe coming back from some sort of injury where he has to be off for a while. We're going to hear from him, right, real soon. So I'm hoping, or at least according to what Eddie Hearn is saying, the first quarter, at least, of 2026, we're going to be getting that. So that's going to be quite the kickoff for 2026. If we're going to get in, I believe I read late January, possibly Manny Pacquiao come back with Fundora and Thurman on the undercard, and then maybe even February or something like that for something like this, Ennis and Ortiz. That'd be pretty killer. What a way to kick off 2026 if like 2 months back to back we have killer fucking fights. That'd be pretty awesome. But when I heard Eddie Hearn's saying this, my initial skepticism was like, dude, do you really want this fight? Like, I suspect you probably really don't want this fight. But according to them, they got it signed. And according to Andrew, it seems like they might not have had a choice. They probably had to at least put, pen to paper and got a crack a like. And so, don't forget, we're going to get Virgil in a few weeks. That's going to be, interesting to catch. He does still have to get past Erickson Lubin. If you guys remember him, of course, he fought several names. Charlo, and then that great fight against Fundora as well. So if you hear that noise in the background, my bad. There's this jackass who lives down the street who has like a little mini bike and he's cranking it right now. So my bad if you're hearing it. He chooses the worst possible times to read that, or to write it, I meant to say. But yes, possible 2026 Ortiz and Boots Ennis, at least according to Eddie Hearn. One of these last topics that I kind of want to tuck into here before we call it a show. I saw that I believe Mikey Garcia is going to be on the ballot, or is on the ballot, for the Hall of Fame And this is I'm not even sure. Like I don't know how they do this, but is this the next Hall of Fame coming up in 2026, or is it the one here at the? Is there one in 2025? I'm not sure when their ceremony is, but I'm a fan of Mikey Garcia, and if you guys go back to our Facebook page, I posted a picture there several months back, actually, of me and Mikey at a fight here. As a matter of fact, it was like 2012. I want to say it might have been like before. Was it before Pacquiao and Marquez 4? I want to say Top Rank held a small show with Mikey Garcia. I think it was also Andy Ruiz and Oscar Valdez. They were all on the card, and this was like a day or a few days before Pacquiao Marquez 4. And I went to watch fights. I mean, I was a fan of Mikey. I've been a fan of him for a hot minute, but I don't know, and I hate to sound like a hater, and I hate to sound like Ryan Garcia talking about Triple G, but I'm not entirely sure if this is Hall of Fame worthy. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Yeah, he's won belts in multiple weight classes, so I'm sure that's something. And the time that he dared to be great to move up to 147, he fucking lost, and then things were wishy-washy ever since. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. And sometimes I don't know. I just figure that you would have to beat a Hall of Famer or some guy that was on that level at least to even get your name on there. But as the sport goes on, it seems as though there are fewer and fewer of those guys. So the criteria in which is needed for somebody to enter the Hall of Fame might have to change because there are fewer and fewer guys. Hell, maybe if we'll get Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia at one fucking point, right? Even where they're at now, because that would be, I don't know, maybe the only guy I think Mikey can fight that will get him into the Hall of Fame. But this is just me and my brain talking, because according to what I'm reading here, his name is on the ballot already. So it's not like my opinion matters here. But anyway, I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? Andrew, am I hating here? Is this career Hall of Fame worthy, or do I just sound like fucking Ryan Garcia talking about Triple G here? Like, no. You needed to face one of these guys. You needed to beat one of these guys. You needed to unify belts. You needed to done X, Y, Z to even be considered for the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Do I sound like a hater here?
No, Miguel, you hit it right on the head. I think you couldn't give a better example of a definition of a Hall of Fame fighter. Besides, one of the biggest points is looking at his career and going, what Hall of Famer did he beat? Right? I mean, that's going to get you in right there. That's usually how what does Floyd always post? The men that he's beaten, right? All the belts that he's won, but really the guys that he beat for those titles. When I look at Garcia's record, there isn't a Hall of Famer on here, man. There really isn't. I'm going to say his biggest win might be Juan Manuel Lopez, and that's only because it was a Mexican-Puerto Rican buildup. Lopez is really on the decline when he fights Garcia. Adrian Broner's on the decline when he fights Garcia. Neither man is a Hall of Famer. Let me start off with that. I'm just giving you guys what I think are his best opponents on here, and neither of them are a Hall of Famer. How do you get into the Hall? I'm more of a fan of Mikey Garcia's potential than I am of Mikey Garcia's career. So I don't have him in the Hall. He wouldn't have gotten my vote. I think he ran from Top Rank because he did not want the Terrence Crawford fight. You better believe, I believe Mikey is one of those guys that avoided Terrence Crawford. I think he avoided Manny Pacquiao. They didn't want that fight either. Goes up there and sells out to Spence for whatever reason. Looked shitty in that fight. Looked fat in that fight. No.
I heard, just to kind of add to that, for those of you who don't remember, when we were with FightNet Radio, I went to his fight with Jesse Vargas in Texas, and I did a show. We all did a show the next morning. I heard he got paid handsomely for that one. That was it. Jesse Vargas. I mean, again, no knock on him. He was, our boys, Lee Harnish, man crush for the longest time. But that's the victories that he's got. And then the time that he went up to dare to be great, he lost. Well, and again, I'm not saying even if he would have beat Spence, he would be Hall of Fame worthy, but I certainly would have some merit, a little bit more credibility to tossing him in there, moving up to welterweight and beating him, an undefeated fighter at the time.
And that's another point, Miguel. He doesn't even have a loss. No, they really need to look at how did his name get on the ballot, man? Who's going to go up there and speak for him? Sandor Martin? Adrian Broner? Hopefully he's not drunk.
Orlando Salido? No?
Yeah. He's in jail, isn't he? Didn't he just put a car through a building?
I think he is. You're right.
Yeah, bro. I think he's in a little bit of trouble. Juan Manuel Lopez is still blaming the ref. He'll go up there and be like, that guy was crooked. Fuck you guys.
He's like, he's in this room. He's over here in the corner, guys.
Gambling. He's gambling.
Yes. Crooked ass.
Nah, man. It not even a loss to an all-time great where you have him on the stage and at least give him like one of those, this was the hardest fight I ever had bullshit speeches, Holy shit. Sorry, Mikey. No vote for me. I don't even know how you got on the roster. It must be really low on fighters right now.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I think is that because look, I've heard Danny Garcia himself say, I'm already in the Hall of Fame. In his mind, is already in the Hall of Fame. But he beat Eric Morales. All right. Well, that's something, right? He beat Zeb Judah.
Judah.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's something. That's more we can say about Manny. I was already doubting Danny Garcia when he said that shit. I'm like, bro, you went the money route with PBC. Get the fuck out of here. No, fuck legacy shit. But he's got more of a claim to the Hall of Fame than Mikey,
He beat Amir Khan too, didn't he?
Yes.
Doesn't he knock out Khan?
And
that's another gold medal winner, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, he's got way more resume.
You say, that's something.
Yeah, Mikey never lived up to his potential, man. He really didn't. Industry plant, Top Rank gave him a lot of those titles. He was getting knockouts over B-average opponents. Guys that were on, like I said, were already on the decline. And avoided the biggest fight of his career was Terrence Crawford. There was no reason
a lightweight at that time.
Fuck yeah, that fight is so huge, bro. He's undefeated, like 32-0. Terrence is undefeated, probably in his 20s-0. Like Top Rank owned them both. They're both shit. Like, bro, there's no reason why this fight doesn't take place other than one was scared. And that was the beginning of everybody avoiding Terrence. That really was. It really does start with Mikey. It's within Top Rank. It's Mikey and fucking Pacquiao. Pacquiao doesn't want anything on Terrence Crawford either. He's like hell. He's asking for like $25 million guaranteed to fight Terrence, and Bob didn't have that money. He couldn't guarantee that purse, so he avoided it. But no, that's really the beginning of everyone shining away from Terrence Crawford in his prime. It's Mikey fucking Garcia, and to now say the guy deserves Hall of Fame recognition, come on. And he doesn't even have a loss. I love that one. You did better with that one. He doesn't even have a loss to a Hall of Famer. Jesus.
So, but could it be? I mean, they're going to have to change up again. They're going to have to change up the criteria, I suppose, because there are fewer and fewer Hall of Fame guys out there, right? So, let's say he avoids. Well, you don't say. Let's say he avoids Manny, right? Okay, fine. We don't. Or Crawford. Crawford at that time wasn't anything. Crawford would later become something. Would that be how it works? Like, let's say he fights Crawford, and let's say he beats him. Let's just say, right, in his alternate universe, and Crawford still goes on to become who he is today. That is worthy enough, even though he didn't beat him at the time that Crawford was the man per se. Would that still count?
What on beating which guy?
If Mikey did fight Terrence Crawford and beat him before he became Terrence that we know today, and he would eventually become the Terrence that becomes today.
They were already bad men right there, though. That fight right there would have been Floyd versus Diego Corrales all over again for the lightweight division, right? Two very young prospects, guys that we knew were going to be the face of this sport. Were matching up against each other. That's a legendary Nights fight, definitely, because both of them had huge fan bases. You got to believe Mikey's Oxnard would have showed up. LA, Southern California would have showed up for Mikey Garcia at this moment. And Terrence Crawford would have had his own fan base out there. No, I think that would have been the beginning of their careers. One of those guys' careers would have started that night, and Mikey avoided it. And unfortunately for Terrence, he didn't have a plan B. Plan B was Pacquiao. Pacquiao said, fuck you too. And Then he went over to welterweights, and all those guys wanted no smoke from him. And you can miss me with the, oh, well, he should have just left Top Rank and went over to Al Heyman, because all of those guys turned out to not be Terrence Crawford, huh? So Terrence sticking around with Top Rank actually benefited him, because he actually turned out to be the cash cow, the biggest money maker out of all of them, and the generational fighter from this era. So he won on that side, but not financially. Financially, Terrence should be a lot better than what he is right now, and that's sad that happened to him.
Do you think this is something that we're going to see a lot more? Because I'm going to, say it till I'm blue in the face. There's just less Hall of Famers now, you know what I'm saying? So there aren't as many Hall of Famers as there were before. Are we going to be able, do you think we're going to see this more regularly now with guys who we would think, no, this guy doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame? Because there really is no other criteria to go by if there aren't any Hall of Famers left for them to beat, per se. And this is just like maybe the last major generation. By the next generation, maybe there aren't going to be any fucking Hall of Famers anymore. And this is the only way we can get Hall of Famers, is by kind of forcing it, because we didn't beat any of the previous ones because there weren't any.
If the guys end up fighting each other, they will create a Hall of Famer out of the bunch. Might not have, like, say, the winner of the Brian Norman, the Haney, Garcia, the whole welterweight division, Lopez. If all these dudes really did start mix matching for the next 10 years and fighting, if one of them came out the man, then obviously he would go, and the guys under him would be ranked about how they performed against him, and maybe one of them slip in because, hey, that was a war, Brian Norman versus Lopez. You ever see that fight? That was a war. They both get in, right? Stuff like that. Because we have seen the Boxing Hall of Fame is not like the other sports. There's not a lot of criteria to get in. Really, man, it's if you can sell tickets down for that Hall of Fame convention they have every year, your chances of getting in are pretty good, right? They're like, just give us something. He's like, I want a belt. We're on to something here. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a vacant belt, but it's all right. It's all right. He got it.
Let me tell you, it's one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen go on in boxing is that International Boxing Hall of Fame convention they have down there. Who the fuck shows up to these things? Dude, you know me, Miguel. You think I'm a big boxing fan now? You should have seen me when I was 20, right? You should have seen me when I was 21. I get to go to Las Vegas and actually be a part of this shit now. From 21 on, bro, never left it. I never had a desire to go to the convention. Dude, Chavez has been inducted in the NFL. My whole Raider team, Tim Brown, all these guys have been inducted. You didn't see, oh, my airplane ticket, I want to go.
You weren't there with like a bow tie or anything, like the black jacket dinner, no?
It's just so weird. You know what I mean?
You weren't there like, no, Nito got in, guys.
You can see these guys at the fights. Right? They're just walking around. They're normal dudes most of the time at the boxing matches, especially the old timers. Yeah, of course, Ali wasn't walking right through the casinos, but mostly everyone else is, man. There's not too many guys that they're giving the VIP backdoor service to. Maybe the main event fighters of that night, but all those guys in the press room, they're leaving out those press room doors, man. If you hang outside the press room long enough, you will meet all the Hall of Famers that you meet over there in where is it, Ohio? Is that where it's at?
I don't know. I mean,
I keep wanting to say Ohio.
I have never had a desire to go myself either, but yeah, but I don't know where it's at.
It's just a weird thing. Yeah, they try. There's a parade. Everyone goes cheering on the parade. What the fuck,
like,
dude? Like,
showing you the ring and shit. Like,
and then saying, "Can you donate?" Then my promoter ripped me off. I have no money. Like, bro, what? No, I don't want to hear your sad stories. Like, fuck Don King. Like, oh man, here we go. I gotta go fund me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I started a nonprofit, so I can get back on my feet, guys.
Yeah. No, that it's really weird. You are correct though. There are less and less. Seems like nominees, right? What's the word? Certified nominees. Is that a good way of saying it?
Okay.
Guys that deserve it, Miguel. Guys that deserve it.
Yeah, bona fide, legitimate, those
Legit.
kinds of guys.
There you go. See, we also give our fans a vocabulary
Lesson.
class too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys get all these different words, different definitions. I wouldn't use them in public, but right.
Right. You can use them in our comment section because we'll gladly welcome it, guys. Oh man. Well, anyway, but when I read that, I was like, I was a little confused. I'm like, man, I guess there's just nobody left, then I suppose, right? That's the direction we're gonna go. No heat on Mikey again. I was a fan of Mikey. I've driven to fucking Texas to see him fight, or flew into Texas, whatever the fuck it was. So it wasn't like I wasn't a fan of the guy, but it just seemed.
Oh, remember the Salido fight where he quit on the broken nose?
Yeah, on that, but yeah.
Like, come on, bro, Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah, oof. Definitely had question marks there, no doubt.
Yeah, doesn't rematch him, just leaves. Like, come on, man. Like I said, I was more of a fan of his potential than I was of what he actually turned into in the ring.
Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, just a couple of last topics here, real quick. Nothing to go. One of them was Danny Garcia last night, coming away with a victory over Danny Gonzalez, I believe was the last name. People turned out in Barclay. It wasn't packed by any stretch. I believe they hold 19,000 for like a fight or a wrestling event or something like that. So most certainly didn't sell out, but people showed up. Danny isn't from New York. He's kind of their adopted son, as they called it, right? He's from Philadelphia. But it was supposed to be, or at least as I understand it, his retirement. It's a send off. It's, let me put on one last card here at Barclay, because there's where he fought a lot of his big fights in. So he goes out with the win. Not a lot of people can say that. Unfortunately, a lot of fighters, when they retire on a loss. Very few of them can retire when they want to, and at least go out on a win. After seeing Danny Garcia lose to Lara in the fashion the way he lost, it just seemed like that hunger was gone, right? It was like, man, we don't want to see him in the ring anymore, but we don't necessarily want that to be the last memory that we have of Danny in the ring. So he went in there one more time and got himself a victory last night in New York City, or New York, I should say Brooklyn, New York, in Barclay. So I think this is it, right? That was the whole point of it at the beginning of the show. Andrew said, "What do you mean retirement? Seems like it's a kickoff of a new fucking career." No, I don't think that would be the case, Andrew. But did you catch the fight, or did you catch the knockout at least? Were you able to catch that last night?
Yes, absolutely caught the knockout. It's the same left hook Danny's had his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
It's just always been who was receiving it has always been the question about what that left hook would do to them, because it seemed like anybody but the best in the world, it was devastating. But when he faced the elite, not too big of a left hook, usually took a defeat. I want to say every time Danny Garcia stepped up in opposition, he took a defeat in his PBC career.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought his Golden Boy career started off fine. Lucas Matisse being the biggest victory in that one. But yeah, once he signed with the PBC, did great against all the B-level guys Al Heyman had from. But when he faced Sean Porter, when he faced Spence, when he faced Thurman, defeats on all of them. So that's kind of his career.
Yeah. But it was nice to see him to go out, on a victory. Yeah, granted, it wasn't or anything like that. But as I mentioned, not a lot of people get to do that. And for him to do that where he wants it is as close to ideal as possible. Of course, more often than not, people want to go out on top. And even though he's not at the top of his weight class by any stretch at this point in his career, at least coming out with a victory is pretty important. So congrats to Danny on the victory, and great retirement. Hopefully he doesn't do one of those things where I'm going to come back and then lose and come back and then win, come back and all this shit. It's a nice way to send it off, everybody. So good for Danny there. And then just one last one here, that viral round that you wanted to kind of bring up earlier. I did see the round. The guy who was the favorite ended up winning, but that round, how many was it 4 knockdowns in that round? I forgot how many it was total, but there was a point where somebody got a point deducted. Did you see that? What was that about? Then that viral round of the year they were talking about earlier, there was a point deduction for something. Did you know what it was for? Because I didn't see the fight, so I'm not entirely sure.
The point for holding.
Oh, that's what it was.
Is that Al Cole? Was that the referee, Steve Cole or Al Cole?
Oh shit, I don't know.
What's the ref's name? His last name is Cole. Cole.
Oh shit! I do recognize his face. I don't know. Let me pull this up because
Right.
I don't know who the fuck he is. But go ahead. We're talking about it.
He dropped the ball big time on that
Oh.
fight, bro. Look, I love the fight, but it looked like Cole had a favorite in that ring last night. The young man that gets dropped first probably should never have gotten the chance to come back in that thing. I mean, we're talking about he gets dropped, he gets up, he's stumbling, Miguel. He's falling into the ropes. The ref looked like he was going to wave it off, doesn't wave it off. The kid, he then lets him fight a kid again. The kid falls down without getting punched. Like he's out. He is out on his feet, Miguel. Cole's like, oh, no, get up. That was a slip. Come on, fight. Oh, wait. I want to take a point away because he's holding. Because I was like, bro, you're giving him more time. Now you taking that point away. He's giving the kid more time to recuperate. Let the kid knock this guy out and go home. Then the knockout is like on the bell. It's like worse than Chavez and Taylor, bro. It's like, Cole's doing this. I'm like, wait. It's fishy.
Lawrence
man.
Cole. That's who it is.
Lawrence Cole. There you go. Jeez almighty. I was close, L.
Close enough. There's an L. There's an A. Close enough.
See, now you're working with me. That's what I tell my kids all the time when they're like, what the fuck you talking about, Dad?
Like, just rearrange the letters. I'm sure you can figure it out, goddammit. You went to school, did it, your shit.
Fill in the gaps.
Yeah, please. Pretend my sentences are hangman, a game of hangman, and you have to just add the letters in. Come on, buddy. Get with me here, shit.
You're still in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because you got the word right, and helped me spit it out, doesn't mean that your ass ain't still grounded. So, get the guy here. But yeah,
man, very questionable fight. Look, it's a great win for the young man. Do you know the fighters' names? Does it say it on the thing?
Let me see here. I can pull it up here real quick. Where are we at here? There was shit. Where the fuck was it? I thought I just had it here, but no, I guess I don't have it. I'm sure I can pull it up here. But go ahead. What about the fighters?
No, nothing. It just seemed like the one that won was a little bit being favored by Lawrence Cole.
DeMarcus Layton is the guy who lost. Sebastian Juarez is the one who won.
Juarez. Juarez. It kind of looked to me, if I think Juarez was a favorite that night and they were playing it that way. Kind of took away from the win, man. Miguel, dude, the kid is falling around everywhere. He is out, bro.
I pull up his name, right? Lawrence Cole, the referee, in Google, and there's like all these Reddit and subreddit forums. Like the referee had money on the fight. I was like, oh, geez. We all have the same idea. But yeah, it's like, whoa, that ref was acting a little suspicious there.
Even the point, I'm telling you, when he takes the point away, it's like he's just trying to give him time. It has nothing to do about the holding. We're in round 1. You're already taking points away? Come on. He was just like, kid, what the fuck? Get your shit together.
Yeah.
It's point over here. 1 point. Come on, dude. Can you breathe yet? What the fuck, man? 1 point right here.
He's like wiping off the gloves, like, what the fuck did we talk about in the locker room? Hurry up.
Oh, Jake is going to be mad.
No, dude. He's like, he writes the checks around here, guy. Get with it. But anyway, I just figured I'd throw that in there. That shit was funny. It was a great fucking round. Like, holy hell. But,
hey,
wow.
With that being said, we got to talk about it. Right now, Jake Paul has the boxing event of the year. And I can only say that because of the eyeballs that his demanded besides all the other fights so far. When you have 106 million people tune into your fight and the second is 46 million, I cannot say that both of those were on the same platform, right? I'm sorry, I'm holding up my fingers for so long. So he has possibly the event of the year just because of viewership, right?
We're not talking him and Tyson.
Yeah, him and Tyson.
All right.
We know he's going to win every women's category in boxing, right? Now they're saying round of the year might be MVP promotion. So they've got women's boxing secured. They've got possibly the biggest event in boxing secured as far as viewership. Now they have possibly the round of the year locked up. Jake Paul is about to do a whole bunch of talking, a whole lot of shit on his social media platforms here soon if this all plays out in that way.
Mm.
We kept knocking the kid, but he's showing up. He's doing it. He's making his mark. Listen, I don't know if he had anything to do with what was happening in that fight last night, but it was under his banner. So if they win round of the year, MVP Promotions is tied to promoting that fight, to making that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I just give credit to the kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just give credit to the kid. He's doing something over there. He's not just making noise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Lawrence Cole might also be paid off by him, but whatever.
Right. And we have the referee of the year and the MVP and an MVP card. Oh gosh.
Point taken away 2 minutes in.
Like, have you recouped yet? Okay, cool. All right. Like, no. Go back to your corner. Not yet. Oh my. All right. Well, that pretty much covers it up.
I wanted to clear up the Ali Act.
Oh shit. Okay.
Because the Supreme Court only gets involved if there's an argument about why it shouldn't go into play, right?
Oh,
if someone comes up with a legitimate argument, then it can get pushed to the Supreme Court. As of right now, all it needs to do is get passed by the House, the Senate, and then signed. And I guess that's where they're saying the Donald Trump connection could be huge, where Donald's like, oh, Dana, I seen a paper come by my office today. I signed it, bro. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's where all that could come into effect. But the Supreme Court does not get involved unless somebody makes a legitimate argument from the House or Senate on why this thing should not go. They can have the Supreme Court see it. And that has happened, and they have denied it before. So the revise of this. So it's not law that it needs to go through them, but it can end up there. And I think it will end up there.
With as many people that are trying to go against it for sure. Yeah,
and if you, like I said, Danny kind of puts a very easy explanation on why it's a bad thing, man. When you're, and like you say, even you, I mean, when you just say, look at the fact where, they don't have to even show you what they made that night. That's kind of a bad thing, right? So.
All right. Thank you for that clarification, Andrew.
Yes.
We needed to get that straight because, like I said, I slept through my fucking U.S. government class, so I barely passed it.
No, I knew the Supreme Court had some, because I knew it had failed there once. You know what I mean? And then someone made that comment where there's a lot of things on their fucking plate right now. This is not one of the things they're really talking about. So, and it's possible it's going to end up there again. We don't have Senator McCain anymore, though. John McCain, he was the man that really pushed for boxing, the Ali Act, that I remember. This is all off memory. But John McCain was the one that was really pushing for the safety of fighters getting ripped off. And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. So I don't know who in the Congress is going to be.
Yeah. Who took his
They might all be UFC guys.
Right. They might
all be all, I don't know about boxing, but man, I was at like 5 UFC events and be like, fuck.
Yeah, here's a little more trivia for you. It was Senator John McCain who actually outlawed the UFC in a lot of other fucking states when they didn't have any gloves or anything like that, right? It's like he would send out letters like, please do not have these events, taking place in your state, yada yada. And they got that's why there's a period of the UFC history that they call like the underground, where they had to, because they weren't on pay-per-view anymore. They were removed from a lot of Dish and DirecTV subscriptions and stuff like that. So they had to take place in Indian reservations and stuff like that, and they were having a hard time, which is one of the primary reasons they were in the position to sell, because they were so in the fucking hole at that point. So it was Senator John McCain who was like, this is human cockfighting, they're allowing headbutts, all this shit, do not allow this to happen in your state. And it got the UFC banned in a lot of fucking states. So yeah, a little extra info there. All right, before we wrap it up, one more time, guys, make sure to go to Health E Sol. Grab yourself some Tallow soap there. This is lavender patchouli, my favorite scent. Use the code MADBoxing10 at checkout and get 10% off. And we'll definitely leave a link in the description as well. But that is going to wrap it up for this magnificent Sunday evening. For my co-host, Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapache. I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, a.k.a. Fight Feed Migs, and this has been Mad Boxing or Mad Boxing Show. Thank you once more. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care and peace.